Hello, hello.
This is the podcast, Girls
And the City. You are welcomed by your two lovely co-hosts, me, Susanna, whose today's week quote for you is, maybe you don't need more time to heal, maybe you just need more experiences that show you your nervous system a different reality.
Wow, I'm curious where she found that profound quote. Yeah, really. I need something deep as well, but I'll stick with and Elizabeth, the lover girl that continues to love her girl, but it'd be hard out here, honestly. But anyways, this is the podcast Girls in the City, and every week we watch the show Sex in the City. We try to figure out what the question is, and then we try to answer it along with adding in some our personal experiences and some of our friends' stories as well. So, how are you?
That's it. How are you? I am good.
It's a good
My
start.
week has been predominantly focusing on wellness, my wellness. My sleep is not the best, and I thought for years that's just me and other things, and I learned this week that I just have high cortisol. Which means that I am anxious, I overthink, my, thoughts are like flowing through my mind before I sleep. I wake up at around 3 a.m. In the morning. I can't fall asleep because I'm bothered by everything. That is basically high cortisol. And I found my holy grail, which is ashwagandha.
The true cure.
Yeah, I have not felt this good for so long.
Okay.
Honestly, like probably 10 years. That's when this kind of thing started for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I, rediscovered how it feels to be calm, not anxious, and sleep great. Fortunately, I ran out of my ashwagandha, so and they are not they're not making this exact one anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been that basically for me. And then, getting into how I can regrow my hair again because I had some hair loss. It's all connected, stress. And, just doing girl stuff. I went for a facial and I make sure that I eat well and just taking care of myself and journaling. And it feels great. Trying to do more meditation because that also helps with the mind.
For sure.
I did feel in the last weeks that it's harder for me to focus. Like I just get very scattered and constantly feel like I need to, just do random stuff. So I felt like I need to come back to myself a little bit and slow down.
No, I love that. I love the reinvestment in yourself.
Yeah, so that's what my week has been. What else? I mean, I'm not even talking about the usual things like work because that happens every week. And yeah, I'm preparing to fly to Slovakia next week. So yeah, I need to pack at some point. But yeah, that's it.
That's exciting though.
You?
No, it's good. It's good. I'm good. Week's been good. Just mostly working as always. And then yeah, on Friday I injured myself, or actually as I say, I got attacked by a bench.
Yeah, tell us this crazy story.
The saga. It's actually I didn't think it was that serious, right? So I was at my friend's rooftop at her apartment building, and we're having like a barbecue, and there's just like benches and some seating area down there. And I was sitting on the bench, and I just like I guess quickly moved my leg. It wasn't even that serious. It was like painful for a second, but I was like, oh, like got a splinter. And I went down to her apartment to try and take it out. I got a small bit of it out, but I was like, I felt that I couldn't get all of it out. So then Saturday I called like my teledoc because I have like a teledoc thing. As part of my insurance, and they're like, yeah, you should probably go to urgent care so they can help you take it out. I show up at urgent care.
Crazy. And honestly, that's crazy for me. Already you have to go to urgent care to take that out, but yeah.
No, but even at urgent care, he's like looking at it, and it's actually, I thought it was only like maybe a centimeter or two. No, he looks at it and he's like, it's 5 centimeters or like maybe 6.
What?
And he's like, I can't take it out.
Centimeters?
Like literally like that big. And he's like, I can't take it out. Like, let me refer you to a surgeon. And I was like, are you serious? Like, and it's a piece of wood that's still stuck in me.
girl, you need to take it out.
Yeah, so he like prescribed antibiotics. So he's like, hopefully there won't be an infection. I was like, yeah, hopefully. It's actually
So what
so
are you gonna,
bad.
like, are you gonna go
I'm
to
gonna
the
go to a
surgeon?
surgeon on Wednesday, but I want to move it up because I have a trip to Chicago on Thursday. So like,
Obviously,
it needs to fit
obviously.
into my schedule. Um,
I was saying to her, because she already told me this information prior to
yeah,
podcast, that it's been a long time since our Elizabeth
haven't
has
I've
been somewhere
been
else
home
than
too long.
Washington. Yeah, it's
Clearly,
been what, 2 weeks?
I yeah, actually, you're right. Probably like 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks. Um, but yeah, so hopefully I can go to a surgeon and they can tell me if they want to like surgically remove it or if they're just gonna leave it in there forever. So hopefully I'll get some actual medical help.
You know, sometimes you need to like fill out the forms when you're going for like health type of appointments, and they're like, "Have you have any surgeries?"
Well, they asked me that yesterday. I was like, I guess I got my wisdom teeth removed. Like I've never had any major surgeries, and that was the only one.
Yeah, I don't think that is necessarily a surgery, but that would be a
It
fun one.
was. Oh, anyways, but yeah, so like that happened.
Okay, yeah, you got like local anesthesia, no?
No, I got sedated actually.
Fully?
Um, yeah, I got sedated. Yeah.
What? I had like a local one.
Yeah, I'm a baby. And so we knew the doctor very well in Russia. And so
Jesus
I was like, can you
Christ.
just like put me to sleep? And
You
she's
know
like,
that
yeah.
it's quite dangerous.
No, sedation is actually not that dangerous. Like actual anesthesia is dangerous, but
Oh, so
sedation is
there is a
slightly different. There's
difference?
a difference, yeah. So they just put you like they just heavily drug you. That's it. I was just very high.
That sounds great.
I mean, I didn't feel a thing, so I love that part of
No,
it.
I mean, like, I remember when I got into anesthesia. Is that anesthesia?
Anesthesia, yeah.
I got knocked down, and then I woke up, and I was like, "What is happening?" Like, I was so out of the world, and then I fell asleep again, and then I woke up, and it was
Yeah.
just. It takes so much time to recover. I wouldn't
That's
want
what
to
I've heard. I've never
necessarily.
actually had it, yes, because I've only been ever sedated. I'm actually always I'm such a baby because they gave me a tetanus shot yesterday too, and I was like telling the nurse, I was like, I'm gonna pass out. Like, can you get me some water? Because I'm such
Oh
a
wow! No,
baby.
I always like I'm like the opposite. I think my
Oh,
pain tolerance is very high. It's just that
I don't know if it's pain. It's just the concept of something stabbing me. Even when he was like trying to feel out the splinter yesterday, I was getting queasy. I was like having a hard time, like not breathing, but just like keeping it together. Honestly, I just don't like
Okay.
it.
I
I
mean, I think you should, if you would be raised by my mom.
Oh, yeah, no,
She
but your
was a
mom's like a
doctor.
doctor. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
a different thing.
I had very hard, like,
You're hardcore.
what is it? Like hard policy, like when I
Yeah.
felt a little bit sick or something, she was like, "Yeah, that's fine. You don't need the pill. You will like
Oh my
recover."
goodness. Yeah. No, I think I have a good pain tolerance. It's just I get really queasy from like medical things. But anyways, that was like that side of the weekend. And then yeah, yesterday we went to a launch party for a new dating app. So
Yeah,
I
tell me,
I was
I
so
want to hear the
interested.
tea.
Yeah, I've been
I'm
gatekeeping this from
surprised
Susanna.
so many events related to dating are happening in Washington, D.C. Maybe I'm in wrong groups here in
I don't
London.
know. Dating out here is still very rough. I was talking to someone who just recently moved here on Friday and she was asking me like how is dating here and I was like it's rough out there.
Honestly, dating is rough everywhere.
Yeah, but I think it's just like the particular kind of people like again, it's a smaller city, the kind of people that live here, they're mostly like driven to be in politics and government and things like that. And that just is
Mm.
so uninteresting to me. I couldn't be less interested, honestly. And but like I don't know. I get so bored of it. But anyways, like but the dating event was good. It's basically this couple. It's called paired, as if like the pear, the fruit. But it's also playing on words of like a pair of people, I guess. Um
Okay.
I I'm still trying to understand and grasp their differentiating factor, but from what they have said so far, like I've seen the app, they're trying to combine dating apps with Instagram with Eventbrite. So they're trying to say like we're going to have what they're calling moments, but essentially it's like Instagram stories on your profile so you can share like regular updates about yourself and what you're up to. And then they're
And
also having
that would be like
it would
only
just be more
for
of a glimpse into your life
dates.
rather than your like static photo and your prompts, apparently. That's what they're saying. It's a brand new app. We're trying it out, but
Oh,
eh,
you have it now.
yeah, I download. I mean, when you go to the event, you have to see like what they're offering,
Right.
right? anyway, so I did that. And then the other piece that they're trying to bring in is like more social events, which I actually was like a lot more curious about because I actually took one of their flyers, have a little flyer. And things that they're doing is a Love Island themed pop-up like party, which is kind of fun. Like I was talking to Olivia, who's like came with me last night. And she's like, oh my God, if someone like came and like talked to me and be like, can I put you for a chat? She'd be like, I'd be done for. Because it's like it's very Love Island. But anyways,
What
and then
does it
there
mean, a very Love Island?
have you seen the show?
Um, no, but I've seen enough to understand what it's
Okay,
about.
it's just pure British culture, and it's gotten big in the US now too, but I've only ever seen the British one, so I confess. Um, it's just they have, like, little terms that are coined within the show, so, like, pulling someone for a chat is, like, one of them, like, putting all of your eggs in one basket is one of them.
Okay, so what is
Um
pulling someone for a chat?
It's literally being like, come up to someone who's sitting with a group of friends and just directly be like, "Can I chat with you privately? Like, can I pull you for a chat?" Literally, like, that's what they say. But anyways, it's like small little things that are, like, coined in the show throughout, like, the series the whole summer.
Okay.
So that's, like, one of the events that they're doing, and then another one is wake up coffee party, which is cute, like, just coffee shop, come meet people. A walk club plus coffee dates. So, like, I like these ideas, so if they, like, introduce that into the app, I think I'd be a lot more keen to
Mm,
join, just because I do like event-based things where you can just meet new people.
yeah.
Um
I do feel like because all of these dating apps, people are returning back to in-person event.
Yes, 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 yes. And the couple that like launched the app actually met on one of the dating apps over the pandemic, and so they're like, "Oh, we like believe in the concept that it works, but there's like some adjustments that we think should be made, including these events." But the launch party itself was really fun. It was like at the Line Hotel in DC, which is like in one of these historic buildings. Then there's also like another building next to it, which has a rooftop. So at the rooftop, it was amazing views. They had like a DJ there, they had drinks there, some snacks, and then there was a raffle. So I actually won one of the prizes in the raffle, which was a $50 gift card to like a bar and restaurant. So that was very fun. Like they gave a bunch of those away.
Oh.
And that's actually such a good idea, right? It's like you could have a voucher, come up to a stranger, be like, hey, I've got this voucher. Do you want to go on a date with me? Like I thought that'd be such a
So,
good pickup line.
have you met anyone?
I am such a scared baby. I like I it's really funny, and a lot of people, like, when they first meet me, they're like, "You're so confident." And I was like, "I don't know if I am because I genuinely can't come up to strangers." I even at
No,
that
no.
event, I can't
I,
do
I,
it.
it's like you can in specific situations. It's like
Maybe if the
you're like
stars align.
it's like 100 or 0 with you.
That
And
is true. That is true.
I wouldn't be able to describe to someone like when is when.
When I, like, feel comfortable and confident, I will go for it. In all other cases, I shut down. Because even, like, Olivia came up to me, she's like, "Hey, do you wanna go talk to, like, this group of guys?" And I was like, "I don't know if I want to." Like, I'm just sitting in the corner being like, "I'm okay." Like, I made
Well,
better friends with the photographer. I
I
just
mean,
can't do it.
you can also, adopt my strategy, which is I don't chase, I attract.
I tried that, but then nobody came up to me.
Sometimes no one comes, but that's
And that's
fine.
and that's fine, like, and this is why I'm better probably at, like, the dating apps, for example, right? Because like, if I do go on a date and I meet with someone and I do vibe with them, I feel a lot more comfortable, like, going into first dates, I'm actually totally fine as long as we've already have established some sort of rapport.
Oh. I actually would prefer someone approaches me because then there is not this underlying expectation already that, oh, we are on a date. Like you
Oh,
can
yeah, I
still
guess
play it
so.
into like, oh, yeah, friendly, if you don't feel
Yeah.
the vibe.
I always think of my dates as friendly, though, like, if whatever happens, happens, either I met I like a really nice person, and that's cool, otherwise, like
Sure, but like, and this is like, we are so going away from the episode,
yeah,
but
we'll come back to it, I promise.
have you ever been able to become friends with someone that you match on a dating app and went on a date and they were like, oh, you know what? Actually, it doesn't work, but we can be friends.
Not like close friends. Yeah, no, it's harder because like, I don't think so. I think we've done that at events, like at singles mixers. We actually met a very good friend in our friend group that way. Um, and we're close friends with him, but not from a
Okay.
dating app.
Yeah, because like me neither. So like I when I meet these people and I'm like, yeah, I'm not attracted to you, but it would be still nice to be friends. They don't want to be friends.
That's true. I mean, maybe it just hurts their ego. That's such a beautiful girl. Hurt them.
I
um,
mean, it's not that. It's just like you can feel the vibe is not vibing,
yeah, which is fair. Which is fair. But anyways, shall we hop
Anyway,
into it?
yeah, 70 minutes of
I don't know how to pronounce the name of this episode, so you're gonna have to do your
so
best.
I don't
How's your
know.
French? How's your French?
Non-existent. This is one of the
Great.
languages I can't. So I'm
Oh,
gonna try, but
okay.
I also have an English translation. So
Oh,
I'm gonna use that from
is it
now
as
on.
sexy as the French one though?
Nothing is as sexy in English as is in French. Let's be
Fine,
honest.
I guess we'll have to settle.
So doula doula exquise. I don't know. If someone is French and I
Please
completely
correct
butcher
us.
that, yeah,
We
I try
apologize in
my
advance.
best. But anyway, the English translation is the exquisite pain,
Ooh,
and that's the name of the episode. So
I kind of like that.
yeah, it's deep.
I like it.
B,
Yeah.
as my quote was. Um, okay, so summary. Woo. This episode explores, as it's probably quite straightforward, the theme of longing, desire, and emotional masochism, aka when you are in pain because emotionally you are longing for something that is maybe not reciprocated or not there. And the pain we sometimes have to face with for the sake of love, sex, or fantasy of a relationship. So this French concept, which is in English the exquisite pain, actually means as it relates to a specific kind of pain that comes from loving someone you can't have. Did you know that?
Gotta mute myself. Sorry, Marvin's talking. Um, that's really interesting, though. I feel like I've never heard of that saying before, but I relate to it. That's like how I feel
Yeah,
now.
there was Myron. So that's where the episode is really going into today. And we have obviously, I think, not to those that have watched Sex and the City will not be surprised who will be predominantly talking this episode. Yes, it's Carrie and Mr. Big. So let's start with them. Carrie is blindsided when Big tells her that he's moving to Paris for work and he doesn't know how long he's gonna stay. And it comes out of nowhere, which obviously every normal person would be devastated, especially if you thought you're in a relationship and you're in love. If you feel like out of nowhere your partner just tells you, yeah, I'm leaving and I'm not sure when I'm coming back. She struggles with the idea of being left behind. And the whole he didn't even consider me in his decision. How important am I for him? And yada yada yada. The same old. The relationship is kind of where it was before. But level 2, I would say. Yet she keeps seeing him, and that kind of continues to break her heart throughout the episode. Eventually, she confronts her emotional. Oops! Oh my god! It's just me touching stuff. Her emotional masochism that she's being putting herself into, realizing that she's choosing pain by continuing to see him, and be with someone who doesn't want to be with her or doesn't choose her back. And it's basically a major turning point of their on again, off again relationship where at the end they broke it off. And Carrie is heartbroken again. Then we have Charlotte, and she has a very fun light story line here. She leans into her shoe fetish and comes into a contact with a guy who works at the high-end shoe store, and it's also a food fetishist. And they have this interesting dynamics where he gives her free designer shoes in exchange for him watching her to try them on. And initially she loves the idea and kind of enjoys it, but at some point she realized that she's being used and sexually used because she sees his reactions to her trying the shoes on. So I think like in the end she tries to return the shoes she gave her for free, and then he was like, well, but they were already used, so I either bin them or you keep them. And she was like, I can't keep them and I can't buy them because they're too expensive. So then they do this deal where he said, okay, I need to try this 5 new pair of shoes on, and it's just gonna be the try on, and then you can keep the shoes. And she agrees. And yeah, he kind of goes way into his fetish during this try on, and she feels uncomfortable, but I understood that she kept the shoes as a result of that. And then we have Miranda. This episode, by the way, besides the exquisite pain, is also about fetishes. And Miranda dates a man who is turned on by having sex in public places. She is hesitant at first. They, by the way, connect over buying a book in a bookstore, which I thought, how cute this is. And then it turned out to be a completely different storyline. But yeah, she's hesitant at first. Oh, you have something there?
No, I was just saying weirdos read books too.
I think weirdos read books. Oh, sorry, I do read books as well. I'm not a weirdo, so I know many
all people read books.
Yeah, it's just anyway. Yeah, so she's hesitant at first. She gives it a try a couple of times, and she's wondering to what extent it's her and to what extent it's just him, having sex in public places, which is a turn on for him. But then they go to his room, and she realizes, oh, really, he is into me. But soon enough afterwards, she learns that his parents are at home and they are coming to their room and he expects them to. And they are caught by his parents. And yeah, that's where Miranda decides that this is not for her and she's out.
The man just wants to get caught. Like, that's his fetish.
Do they?
No, literally, that was his thing. It's like he loved the idea of getting... No, 100%. That's what it was.
I thought it was just public places.
Well, public places, but like the whole idea that makes it a public versus a private place is like others are there, right? So it's like the idea of getting caught.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah. Anyway, we don't have really much Samantha in this episode, which is a shame. She is very... she's at the beginning. I would love to have Samantha.
But I think we expected from her. Like, I think because, like, everyone was so out of their comfort zone, but Samantha on a power trip with a whip, like, she was in her, like...
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying, like, this episode was so great for her to, like, have more storyline about fetishes,
But that's her every episode. Like, that would not be an anomaly for her, and that's why I think we only get a glimpse of it.
Yeah, so we have the beginning of the episode where she is hosting this new concept for like a new bar or whatever, I don't know, which was in a theme of S&M. And so everyone had to dress provocatively, and yeah, it was a lot of sexual fetish inside, waitress and waiters being dressed explicitly
in S&M style.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
And she was there with the whip and the whole team. Yeah, it was very fun to watch. She was enjoying herself. She also looked so good. But that's pretty much Samantha for the episode. Yeah,
love it,
so good. So we go to the question, and I would like to also give a little bit of context before I say the questions, because I do like the usual Carrie. Yeah, usual Carrie read up. So in love relationships, there is a fine line between pleasure and pain. In fact, it's a common belief that the relationship without pain is not worth having. To some, pain implies growth, but how do we know when the growth pain stops and the pain takes over? And then the question is, when it comes to relationships, how do you know when enough is enough?
Yeah, no, it's a pretty deep one this time.
I mean, it's a deep episode.
Yeah.
For her. Yeah. For Carrie.
I mean, our discussion too. I'm excited to dive into it. All right, shall we begin with the concept of fetishes? Because I think it's just so in your face in this episode. It's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do like. I think like a very beginning of the episode. What's the name of the Carrie's friend? Stanford. Yeah. Apologies. Yeah. I keep forgetting
I have his
name.
glasses today.
You do. You keep it in a team. So he asked, when did wild sex came back in style? And I think that was kind of a great opener for the episode, because it seems that, it's always been quite out there. I can't tell whether this whole idea of SMM parties, people having fun and enjoying themselves has grown, or it's always been like that compared to the 90s. But it looked very fun in the episode.
Yeah, I think it was definitely less discussed back then.
Was it?
I don't know. I feel like it would be. Because the first time, like for at least for me, the first time we have a lot of like we have a thunderstorm here right now. So please, if you see any
Oh.
lightning, just don't worry about it. Big thunder, big thunder. Um, but like the first time I even heard about like the concept of S&M, as I'm not gonna lie, was Rihanna's song.
Oh yeah. No, me too. And
That was such
I
a good one.
I thought it was Sex and Money.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I'm saying is like I don't think it was so not normalized, but like I think that because it is in pop culture, it's become more, I guess, not accepted, but just
I
talked
mean,
about,
everything is
existed.
now more revealed.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Because of
yeah.
social media
And I'd say
and
almost like normalized as well, right? It's like I think it's quite normal. Like people will ask. It's not like if you have fetishes, like what are your fetishes? And again, I think we talked about it in like previous episodes, like what is the fine line between like sexual preferences and fetishes? Like there's always that. But I think
yeah.
it is interesting with the foot fetish thing because I think that's actually one of the more common ones. I don't know if it's to that
Apparently,
degree, but it
I
is.
mean,
I think statistically, we should have probably done our research on this, but I think statistically, from what I understand, like it's quite common among men to have a foot fetish. And I've heard a
um,
number of theories on it too of like why it happens. Um,
okay, go
like one
on.
of the theories
Because
that
I heard that apparently Pisces are into feet.
I didn't okay, as a Pisces, I maybe it's just men, but I'm not. Um, but we'll find out on that. Um, but yeah, so I heard the theory that guys are into feet because their mothers didn't pick them up enough, so when they were just toddlers, they were staring at their feet
This,
for too long. That was a theory that I heard. I don't know if that's like really true, but that's like
so they are
maybe some
traumatized,
theories.
basically.
They just like admired feet for too long. That's what I've heard. Um,
Is
but I'm
that?
not sure if that's true. That's just like something. But I think it is quite common, and I think it's like to varying degrees. That's one that's definitely more out there. I think the whole idea of Miranda and her guy named, I think his name's Jack, being really into PDA, but like extreme versions of PDA is kind of interesting because it's also like I am someone who, I don't know about you, I'm actually really curious. Like if you're in a couple or with someone, like holding hands and hugging is like pretty cute and acceptable. But I think, like, making out in public does, like, make some people quite uncomfortable. So, like, for
Yeah.
example, for me, I'm just like, let's, like, leave that for later when it's, like, a little bit more intimate. And so, because I don't my problem is it's not that I'm shy myself. I'm more fearful of making others feel uncomfortable.
No, I'm the same. I feel like I'm very sporadic when it comes to public expression
Split, yeah.
of
Affection.
yeah. I do believe it comes from our culture background though.
That's
Like
true.
the fact that it's
You're
like
right.
Eastern Europe, you don't show this kind of stuff in public at all. I feel
You
like
do, like, the grand gestures, right? You, like,
yeah,
pull out the chair, you open the doors, you open the
exactly.
car
Or like,
doors, you bring the
bring
flowers, like
exactly, but like the gentleman stuff, but not the explicit one. So for
yeah.
me, I'm the same. I can't, like, I would feel uncomfortable exactly for the same reason as you, because I feel I'm making other people uncomfortable. And I also am bothered if someone is explicit.
Yeah, like,
So
to a point that's, like, too much, like, literally get a
yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Um,
So I am like, and honestly, all my Eastern European friends are the same.
yeah.
um, So I think it's culture, and yeah, you keep it for your private times.
Yeah, and I think that kind of affection of, like, yeah, again, holding hands, cuddling, like, hugging, all this stuff, like, having, like, your arm around someone is perfectly fine.
I would be interested to hear a Latina perspective here.
Maybe. We gotta get more guests on here.
Paula, let us know.
Pal No, not to add our friends, but, we'll get her on here. But that's what I'm saying, and I'm actually really curious, so what if you did date a guy who, like, was very into PDA, but to a degree that, like, he likes getting
Mm.
caught or the risk of getting caught, like, is that a deal breaker?
Okay, so I would kind of go to the more general question, which is if someone has a fetish and is not something you've tried or thought about, to what extent you would be comfortable into like opening yourself to
Yeah.
that. And I think that there are different types of fetishes. Obviously, some of
Okay.
them I might be curious to try because, they are aligned with my type of
Experimentation.
exactly. And then there are some that I'm like, no, thank you. One of them
Yeah.
is public places. I don't, because of what we just talked about, I would not enjoy the the whole
Yeah. Wouldn't get a kick
thing.
out of it.
No, like it would make me feel the opposite, very enjoyable. So
Yeah.
that is something that I don't think I would do. And if someone is like this crazy about it, I'm not sure that will work. But also, I feel like he didn't really care about Miranda as much as he cared about having sex. So
Yeah, I think that's like where I also heard this other thing recently, that I was gonna like share is like I think he really enjoyed her company and her outlook on it. Of like I think she was very like forthcoming of, yeah, let's try it out. Like this seems fun. Like this seems like a fun adventure. And I
yeah.
think she was having a fun time, but I don't think it was gonna be really ever a meaningful relationship because it's not like they got that deep and personal about it.
Mm.
Um
And that's another thing. I wouldn't do that with someone that I'm not deeply
yeah,
connected.
that you just met.
Yeah, like unless I want to try this myself, Like if it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a
Unless it's
cool.
on your fetish bucket list.
Exactly. Like, unless I'm like, oh, I wanted to like try this out. And I do believe that finding a person that is aligned with your fetishes, that like the more extreme, the harder. So if you find that person, you're like, okay, let me just try because
Yeah.
I don't know when is the next time I will meet someone who's on the same page.
Wants a
But
booby.
if it's something like you're not necessarily into and
Right.
it's very surface level, I don't think it's worth it.
No, it's fair.
So that's my perception. What about you?
No, I'm kind of in the same boat, honestly. As accepting as I'd want to be of people and their different preferences and things like that, there's just some things that there is a fine line between compromising and like making the other person feel good, but there's also a fine line of what am I comfortable and uncomfortable with, and like state putting that stake into the ground. Just because, again, yeah, to our previous point is, I don't want to just be there for like someone's pure
Pleasure.
pleasure. Um, because for me, it's more towards a deeper and meaningful connection.
Yeah. Same.
Um,
Like if this, and I think it kind of goes to the discussion we had about threesome. Like
yeah,
if you are with your partner for years and you build a very strong base of relationship, and then one of the partners suggests that, and you want to do it because like you trust them and you also want to make them happy, and you have you set clear boundaries, and what is yes, what is no.
yep.
It's the same thing with the fetish, but like if it's just, yeah, like a casual thing, eh. I don't even feel like I would just sleep with anyone like that, because why?
It's just there's no fun in it for me. Some people might have fun with that, but it's just not for me, frankly.
But
Um,
as I said, if that's something that you are into as well, great. If you find a person who aligns with you on the fetish, even though you maybe are not a match in terms of like real relationship. Um.
and
So,
there's a whole culture around it, like right, like
oh
again,
yeah.
sex clubs and things are a
I
thing.
mean,
So
I know communities of friends who go to these open policy type of parties where you go
yeah,
there and you can do anything. And from what I've heard, apparently people are actually very nice and very respectful, and it's the opposite what you would expect. Because everyone is pretty vulnerable, but also open about, their desires, and
yeah,
that kind of creates this safe and respectful community.
yeah. No, I think it always comes back to like consent and communication, and that's like where I've heard, yeah, some of these things are well done and well designed just because of that aspect of it. Is like everyone comes and it's like a safe space in that case.
Yeah, and I think like what Samantha said in the episode summarized it well, that these people just they are having fun with the fetishes. They all have jobs and pay bills. It's not like, this is their life. It's just they like to do this in their free time.
Just alternative hobby, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's better
Um
than taking drugs.
Oh, no, totally, totally. And then we have, like, the other thing that I think was kind of spun off as an online like, not an online fetish, but as a fetish is online dating, and I think that's where we the first time that we actually have a mention of an online website or meeting people online,
Yeah.
which is so fascinating. And of course the gays did it first. Like that's what it sounds like at this
Obviously. I
point.
mean,
No, we love Stanford. And I think like his approach to kind of disclosing it to Carrie and sharing it with her of like, "Oh, I have to tell you about this. You just can't judge me about it," is very similar how I told my friends that I was online dating. Which was in a very different time, in a very different circumstance, obviously, but there was, like, some stigma around it, and I think even back then, even more so, um,
I agree.
that, like, you're dating online because at least, like, for me, and I definitely think this is less so now, there was, like, an element of shame of, like, I felt like I failed at in-person dating, so I had to turn to online dating, and this was, like, me in college. Like
Huh.
like, it's just a
Interesting.
kid. Um, it's, like, that
Because
aspect of it, so I'm curious what you thought of it.
so what I thought about in this specific context, and I also think that is what is portrayed in this episode, is that when you don't feel confident about yourself because maybe, you haven't had so much experience with relationships, and especially when you're young and you're not sure, like you are not confident in yourself,
Yeah.
base, because you are young. It's such a great way to like put your foot into it and connect with people first and then you meet them. Like for me, that is how I became confident. Like
Agreed.
it wasn't necessarily online dating, but I would message with people through social media like Facebook back then, and like friends of the friends, but we wouldn't know each other, and then we would chat and then we would
Bold. I
meet.
like it. Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like I wouldn't just approach them on the street, but because there was this initial talk online and then we agreed to meet, I built a little bit more confidence to talk to that person. And then as I would go out with more people, I also would build my confidence to the point now where I'm like, I mean, I can approach anyone in both, environments, because I
Yeah.
feel I know who I am. I know what I want. So like I've built myself up, but it's been years. Like we were talking when I was like 14 or 15, so almost
Wow.
15 years.
You were ahead of the curve.
I mean, you were not talking to guys when you were no.
Not like that. I think like outside of like my friend group or my like school and my class and things like that, not at all. Like I can't say I was like a late bloomer. I just think I honestly, you're right. Like I lacked the self-confidence in that case. Again, something I've realized is, like, we're never taught to date. Like, we're never taught how it's done
Mm,
besides looking at, like, maybe your parents, your family friends, or, like, even your any other members in your family.
yeah,
You don't know what dating is like. You don't like, it's not a class in school. It's like you
exactly.
have to, like, learn literally by trial and error, and you're so right, like, you were doing it at 14, 15. It didn't actually start literally practicing going on dates until I think I was 2021. And that's when I was like in my big
No
era of like
way.
I was studying abroad in London. And so I was like, I'm literally just gonna have a bunch of first dates and learn how to talk about myself, how to make a first impression, all this stuff, because I genuinely was not good at it. And it's something that helped me, yeah, definitely build my self confidence and like be able to present myself and also be okay with if I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
let's cut to the chase of it.
Because there were 10 other people that I was cup of a tea, and so it's not about one person,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it was
it's
exhausting though.
life.
I did go on I don't think I would have been able to do it if I was in any other time of my life because I was in like undergrad and you kind of have time. You have homework, but it's also like more flexible.
Yeah.
But in that case, like I did have multiple dates scheduled in a week, and so I was like,
Okay, but
we're
I wasn't doing that. Like, I
oh.
wasn't like going on first dates when I was 40, 50. It
But you
was
were
more
just
like,
chatting people up though. That's still like
no, I would talk to people online first and
yeah.
then I would meet them.
Fair, 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 fair.
And that's also the whole, for me, the message here was Stanford is obviously insecure, but, himself. And we see in this episode that
It's
he
because he built
goes,
this thing up about himself. Like it was like a fetish of like basically pretending to be someone he's not.
Yeah, but I
right?
mean, we don't know to what extent he was pretending because at the end of the day, he was being himself.
Yeah, which I think is the
But
beautiful thing about it, because he came out to
yeah,
this event and it wasn't even the guy that he was messaging with, but he found that someone, like, found him interesting, and he was so vulnerable because, well, he was in his underwear. And I found
yeah,
that was, like,
that
so
was
wonderful.
sorry. The context: everyone had to be in underwear because it was a very S&M gay bar.
Y Yeah, it was just, you know, very cool.
So yeah, I think that is the main message for me from this episode when it comes to like online dating and the fact like it really helps you to build the initial confidence when you're not feeling
Your
or
best.
knowing, yeah,
Yeah,
who you are, or like, realizing your value yet. Like online dating and talking first via internet is a great way to start building it.
for sure, for sure. And I think, like, something that we also talked about yesterday is, like, the huge rise in usage of dating apps due to the pandemic, because people literally could not meet anyone any other way. I think has really normalized it so much. Like, so many of the couples that we meet today, I think majority of the ones that I meet, I'm like, "How'd you guys meet?" It's either through friends or dating apps. Like, and dating apps
Yeah,
has been more prevalent than it ever has before.
it is the main.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the name? The main way people are meeting these
Yeah, the main
days.
means of meeting people. No, agreed, agreed.
Yeah,
All right. Well, on to our other main
the
question.
the big one.
The big
How do you
one.
know enough is
When enough is
enough?
enough. How do you know your boundaries?
Yeah, yeah, that's lot to unpack. I mean, that is the ultimate answer of this episode, so I'm gonna leave that answer at the end. But I would start maybe with why. Um, why people do this, you know? Like, why would someone be with you but then make you feel like you're not enough?
Yeah.
Or
And this is in
ultimately,
reference to Carrie and Big, right?
yeah, like ultimately push you away or make you feel like I don't really mind whether we are together or not. I'm doing my life. So then why are you in a relationship in the first place? And I was thinking about that. So this is just more my notes rather than research. And my conclusion is hurt people hurt people. If you are unhealed or somehow, something is not healthy about you, you're gonna hurt people around you unconsciously or consciously, but most of the time unconsciously, because you can care for them, but still, if something within you is not resolved, that's what the output is. And I wrote down a few things where I'm like, why? But you tell me if there are any more. So I write, okay, someone is unhealed, so some trauma or just something that need to work on. Then they're avoiding loneliness. So they are not necessarily in love with you, but they miss the intimacy and it's just convenient for them. You're a placeholder. Um, they're confused about what they want and don't, and just kind of staying in this limbo. And then they are not ready or the timing is just not right.
I think, like, yeah, something to just, like, I guess, to put all that together is, like, you're in the case of Big and Carrie is she's not a priority. And he's like,
No,
I need a relationship where if I need to move to Paris, I need to move to Paris. And
but
that
that's
was like,
bullshit. But that's bullshit, because like you are in a relationship and when you say I don't know when I'm going to be back and you don't even care to tell me, sorry. Like
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's like the difference between them is right now he's like, it between them, let's be honest, I think it's a relationship out of convenience.
for him.
I mean, for her too, I don't think she specifically like met him when she was like, I'm out set out to date.
No,
And
but she is in love with him and she wants to have a
no, no,
real
you can
relationship.
still fall in love with a person, but I'm just saying, like, she didn't exactly do the due diligence of, like, here's the kind of partner that I'm looking for, because he is a partner that she found out of convenience and not the partner that she necessarily attracted based on, like, the criteria she had in mind. Because I personally don't think and this is when I think people are okay, when people are dating, I think actively and are actually dedicating their time and thought to it, is they have an understanding of I wanna date this kind of person. Like, these are my must-haves and these are my non-negotiables. And then anything outside of that is, like, beyond their boundary, right? So, like, they're putting their
Yeah,
stake ground. But I don't
but
think she's ever done that, right? She
no,
met him out of convenience and she fell in love with him. And then so, like, I it
but
happens all the
I
time. Has happened to me
let's
too, but
let's be honest. How many people do have that?
that's what I'm saying. And that's, like, why and it's like, again, my perspective was recently changed because I, like, went to the matchmaking event and I met the matchmaker and she, like it really resonated with me as, like, dating is not it's not a full-time job, but it's definitely a part-time job, especially with online dating. It's like you're working on your computer
Oh,
all
it's an
day, and then
energy you need to
you'll
put
be
in,
on another
obviously.
screen screening candidates for your online
It's
dating.
honestly like a job
It
interview or
is a
job
job, but that's why you
application.
have to also, like, again, if you're serious about dating and you're ready to, like, meet someone that you wanna spend time with, you do have to take it seriously and understand is, like, what is something that I'm looking for and what is something that is not gonna be something I will settle for or, like, may trade off on. In the circumstance of Carrie and
Sure.
Big, it is purely out of convenience. They met each other, there was chemistry, but I'm not saying, like, they're necessarily meant to be because they're not meeting each other's needs. He needs
Yeah, but
someone that's very independent and detached and will not follow him to Paris even though he's gonna go to Paris, and she needs someone that's actually gonna be there for her and, like, be want to be in a relationship.
I disagree.
Okay, tell
I
me why.
Well, first of all, just to touch on, you need to know what they're looking for. A lot of people have to go through relationships before they know.
Right,
And there are a
right.
lot of people who just meet a partner very early on. It's either first or second relationship. When you are also in your early 20s, you don't think about this as strategically.
Again,
And
we're not
yet
taught to date. Yeah.
you can meet your partner and you will be with them and stay with them and like create a family. So the idea that you need to be very mindful and conscious about dating, yes, applies, but when you're older. I think when you're younger, it's just you meet people and you just vibe and you just make it happen, and
But
that's
people also
it
have
works.
less baggage when you're younger.
Yeah,
People
but
are
like
not
it
moldable as well, so I think that's, like,
Exactly.
the
So it
difference there
works
too.
different. Like they don't know what they are looking for, but they kind of like each other. And then as they grow and, get older, they either stay together and work together or they break up. But when you're older, I do agree. It's just that it's not
I
the
still
only
think,
way.
like, when I was, for example, for younger, I did have relationships that, like I can't call them relationship because it was, to be honest, it was, like, high school and we're all children, that were very, like, toxic and immature and very manipulative. I still think that's a case, but that's when I had to just stand my ground being like, "I'm not tolerating this kind of behavior." I don't think it's all picture perfect when you're younger either.
No, but like, for me, I was not looking for relationships when I was young. I was
But you
very
still have your boundaries. You still know what you will and will not tolerate.
yeah, but it was more like someone came into my life. I liked them being in my world, and we were
Yeah.
together. I knew at some point I want to have family, all this like serious stuff, but it
Yeah.
was
But you're
a
not
thing
thinking
of
about
the
it.
future.
Yeah.
So we would stay together, and I actually had really, really good partners. They were committed and they were like serious about this stuff as much as
Right.
I was in that time. But I was not really thinking beyond, do I like to be with them and like, am I in love with them?
Your
Now it's
priorities are
more
different.
like, yeah, now it's more, as you said, there are certain things that I'm looking for in a partner. And if they don't match that, I'm not even going to put my energy into it. But I think
100%.
that's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
But I
like
think that's s
older.
still a shift of priorities because I've also, like, reflected upon, like, my past relationships, and a lot of them have ended because I had to move for, like, I don't know, college, for grad school, and all these things, like, I've had to move because and we had to end those relationships because clearly my priority was my education, getting my credentials for my career. I could have had the priority of being in the relationship and those could have been swapped, which I think like now, for example, for example, I'd be more prioritizing a relationship rather than, I don't know, moving to a different city. Like
Yeah.
the basis I'm making decisions off of is different, I think,
Obviously,
as
but I mean,
adults.
it's normal as age. What I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is, just because you approach your relationships, without having a clear idea and understanding what you want, it doesn't mean that it will not work out. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of relationships where people met when they were young, and they made it work.
Totally.
It's
It's
just
also a matter of
depending,
luck as well.
exactly, depending on who you meet and what part of your life. I
True.
think that's more. And then the second thing is, I don't agree with what you were saying about Big and Carrie, because I think for me, he is with her because it's comfortable and he likes to have someone around as like close person, but he is not serious about her. He's not in love with her. He doesn't want to commit.
Yeah.
And that is something that you feel with some people and you don't feel with other people. Where I don't like what he's doing is he is aware of it, but he doesn't end it up during the relationship, which is really unfair towards her because she is in love and she is expecting that this relationship is serious and she
Yeah.
is committed, but he is not. And it's not about, convenience. He for him it's convenience, but it's also he's just a dick about it because he knew well that
Yeah.
I'm with this girl right now because it just works for me, but I don't really care what's gonna happen. And we will soon see that he is very much into committing to someone when he feels is the right person. So he knew this is not the person I want to commit. He should end that the moment he knew. She is
It is
the
unfair to her.
opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to commit to this person. Yeah, like maybe she didn't know what she was looking for, but she feels that this is the person I want to commit with. And that's the difference for me. You either want to commit with them or not. And if you know you don't, just leave. Because otherwise you're going to drag them on and it will end up like this, where they are anxious and becoming more and more crazy because they are not getting their needs met, and you are becoming more and more avoidant because you feel they are too much.
No, agreed. And I think that would be the mature thing to do, but it's also like I think people avoid it as much as possible just because they're afraid to hurt the other person, but I think that fear overpowers and they end up hurting them more.
Yeah, and I mean, like
As a result.
it goes back to what I said at the beginning, like why people do this to others. It's a combination. It can be that he's just unhealed, or he just
I
doesn't
think
want
he's
to
also
be
just
alone.
avoidant.
He's very avoidant, but that's again unhealed in certain way. Like something about his emotional intelligence has been not developed or blocked, and so he just can't do it or is not willing to do it, which would be the right thing to tell her. But instead, he chooses to just go with the flow, and that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like I will read the passage. Is that in English? Passage from the episode, which it broke my heart because I could relate to Carrie so much here. He said, but you would be moving to Paris for yourself, not for me. I don't want you to uproot your life and expect anything. Like that is crazy.
That was
Imagine
an
when someone
absolute
tells you.
stab in the back.
And then she was like, well, of course I would. Like, why would be other way? Why would I be moving to Paris in any other reason? And then, blah, blah, they started to have fight. She asked him at some point, why is it so hard for you to factor me into your life in any real way? And he answers, I guess old habits die hard. Another, like, complete, like, destroy. She then said, I can't do this anymore. I can't have this relationship anymore where you keep hurting me. And his answer is, I understand. Like,
no, because
I
think he knows he can't do anything else. But
yeah,
it's
but
not like
he doesn't even try. Like,
there's no point in trying. He doesn't want to.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
But, and that's the painful thing because she is trying. She is, being emotional. She's like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, why you don't want to include me in your life? And he's just like, yeah, I guess old habits. I understand you want to leave. It's like so painful. And then, she leaves, she's like, you said you love me, then why it hurts so much? Obviously, she is out. And then she asked this question, like, did I ever love big or was I addicted to the pain, the exquisite pain of wanting someone so unattainable?
Yeah.
And I think that describes us all. Like, there are multiple analyses we can do. One is that she is anxious attachment and he is avoidant. And from psychology, we know that these two people attract each other and then it always ends badly. And because both of them have, some unhealed stuff coming from their childhood probably or just previous life. Or she was genuinely in love with him and he is just him. But I was wondering, like to what extent she really was in love with him and to what extent it really was about the attachment and that she is anxious attachment and he is avoidant and she just was addicted to this chasing because that's something she always have done in as a child.
I don't know if I go that deep into it, but I think like
I mean, it's,
it's
Carrie
clear.
and Big is like example. Like we are talking about generally like this type of relationship where this dynamic happens.
Yeah, and
Like
I think that is pretty common, but I don't know if it's that deep. I definitely think that their relationship is in no means equal, and it's showing, frankly.
yeah.
Um,
And I mean, another thing I wrote down was like, I really like how Carrie, although she's not perfect, she has done some improvement and she does at some point addresses this directly with him again, which we saw at the beginning of their relationship. She was very avoidant and like confronting him directly. Now she
yeah.
does. I think in the last 2 episodes she does, but he just gaslights her so badly every time.
How is he
And
gaslighting her? Like, what are some of the examples?
so she called him drunk and being like, she's like, this is about human decency, taking responsibility, and about being a grown up, about being a man. Why the hell you didn't tell me and you don't want me to come? Like, it's not a child. Like, I'm not drunk. This is not cocktail talking. This is decency that I would expect from you. And he said, have another cocktail.
I think he was
He
well,
was
okay.
sleeping, obviously,
But
but
the thing is, yeah, I would factor in that it is 5 a.m. his morning. I don't think that is the correct like reaction to it. That being said, I don't know if it's necessarily gaslighting. It's more of like he understands like this is not the time to talk about it. Like when she is drunk and like very much on like this like very high wave of this and like she's literally pouring out her
yeah,
feelings. It's
but
not
the
like a time to have a
problem
productive conversation,
they
but
never
he could have
had.
said that. That's what I'm saying. That's what she's calling him out for. I think that yeah, definitely his more mature response to be like, "Hey, let's go to sleep. Let's talk about this tomorrow. Let's make time for this and like have this conversation." But it is very valid that she's calling him out, being like, "You literally decided this on your own behalf of both of us."
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't say that. The only thing he said is, I have a meeting at 9 a.m. I need to sleep, which
Yeah,
again,
I
it's
think he was
just.
just very grouchy, but yeah,
And he
not
never
the
opened
adult
this
response.
topic. He didn't even tell her he's moving indefinite.
Indefinitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The fact
Thank
that he
you.
told her only what he was packing is kind of crazy.
And so, like, I used to, like, let imagine you are Carrie. And if you are apart, you are with someone and you are in love and you think this is a committed relationship and they do this to you, then at some point you will backfire and end at that situation where she's drunk and like being,
But she did bottle it up as well.
yeah, but not sure because
It was
she
also
did.
not like the time to talk about it when he's packing and literally out the door. I
Yeah, but
agree.
like that's the thing. There was never time. He didn't even give her
Yeah.
time to
Yeah,
talk
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
it. And so I don't think this was too much in this case because you are fucking
I
like,
don't
are
know
you
if drunk
fucking kidding
calling is
me?
the I don't know. Like I don't know if the drunk calling is the answer. Nothing is gonna get solved on that like phone call.
I mean, I don't care if she was drunk. What she said was so right.
It
And that's what
was.
I mean.
It was.
Like, she called him out directly. And I mean, if you had a few drinks or not, as long as you can, like, what you're saying makes sense, I think that is important thing here. And yeah, I'm with Carrie on this,
Yeah.
He,
No, no, he
he,
did mess up.
he treated her so badly. And yeah, it's just was very painful for me to watch because I definitely been in similar situations where I felt I just wasn't enough or I was trying my best and I was not getting it back. And you start to be at some point crazy because you don't know if you are the problem or what you can do to be
I
better.
mean,
And
my
it's,
thing is you're never the problem, but you should still
yeah,
talk about it.
exactly. But when you are in love with someone and you're trying to work on it and they are not, but they are still together or like they chose to be together, it's very confusing and it's also very painful.
Yeah. No, it is disappointing to see Big at his old age acting like the immature guy that he is acting like is it's a little disappointing for
Yeah.
sure.
Sorry, I had a little bit of a blast here, but
Now you're good, you're
it's
good.
it's
But like
just
what are there like when is it enough? Because I think that this is the case where he's just being very avoidant and like a bad partner. But also like in other aspects of a relationship.
well, I mean that's an ultimate question. So do you want to go to the ultimate question
Sure.
answer? Okay, so shall we start with what Carrie said?
Yep. Let's evaluate her answer.
And just like that, I untied myself from Mr. Big. I was free, but there was nothing exquisite about it. Not that much of an answer. So I did some research,
Mm-hmm.
and I also have my own answer. So I'm gonna
Good.
start with mine, and then I have some online, ChatGPT, Reddit articles. So we can
It's how the
discuss.
girls do research nowadays.
So, in my opinion, when enough is when their presence hurts, and even though you want to go to them and be close, something holds you back, which we see at the end of the episode. He calls her back to bed, and she's like, I really, really want to, but something keeps me stuck on this chair. It's
Yeah.
the pain of coming back because you don't feel safe around them anymore. And that's, I think, the time when you should go. Or like when you
Skedaddle.
just become anxious and go down the spiral, spiral down. That is clear for me. What do you think?
I definitely kind of agree with it, and I think that's, at least looking back on it, that's where I've walked away from things. Yeah, for example, when someone told me basically they don't see a future with me, I was like, yeah, that sounds like a sound place to end this. Um,
That's brutal.
at least they're honest. At least they were
No, for
honest and like it
sure.
didn't get dragged on. It takes a lot of gotten courage to say that to someone because ultimately it will hurt them, but as a day, like it saves them from future pain.
No, I mean, that's what you should do. Like, otherwise you just drag people and you hurt
It's a
them, and
hard
you
thing to
know
say though.
that.
Yeah.
Have you ever stayed too long in this dragging phase?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
I
you're
don't
good with
I'm
boundaries then.
also I'm also the kind of person that people, if something is off, they will feel it. They will feel me pulling
Obviously.
back. They will feel the way I act around them. They'll see it in my face. Like I cannot put up a front and like act like everything's okay. And so in that point they do ask if everything's okay and like I will spill.
Sure, but I
It's a
meant more
flood.
like you want to make it work, but the other side is not putting the
No.
effort.
I think I've got like too much of an ego in that case.
Okay.
At that point, I'm just like, "Well, I think I'm the absolute shit, and you're an absolute idiot for not seeing that, but that's your problem. That's not my problem." Yeah, just 'cause, like,
Now that's healthy.
I think, yeah, and that goes back to, like, having the confidence and knowing your worth is, and it's hard to, I obviously didn't come to this conclusion on my own. I've had, like, a number of, like, friends and family that have made me realize that because a lot of times when I'm, like, in my own head or, like, there's a lot of things that I, like, try and fail at, and I'm like, I'm not good enough," but I'm like, "Wait a second, like, let's look at the holistic picture." Like, the number of things that I am decent at is pretty high, and, like, the value that I bring to other people's lives, I'm like, that's also pretty good. Um, and so when someone is, like, not giving their, like, at least 90%, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is healthy. The problem happens when you have something you're bringing from, the past, and you don't know where the boundaries should be
Yeah.
set because you just don't recognize the value. It goes back to what I said at the beginning of my, one liner, where sometimes the healing is just that you experience, or you make your nervous system experience the reality that is different
Right.
rather than healing yourself and like isolating. And it really is true because if you only knew that one thing, unless you experience enough of the right reality, you will never heal.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
like a
true.
pouring like water to clear, the inside of the cup,
Yeah.
and you need to pour until everything is out, and at some point it's clear, but it takes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. No, agreed. Interesting
Um,
analogy.
yeah, you can clearly say thought about this a lot.
Yeah.
um, okay, anything else, or should I move on with the other answers?
I'm curious what the other answers are.
Okay, so ChatGPT his
Our
answer
fellow
is
intern.
a consistent lack of emotional or physical connection, persistent conflict or abuse, a feeling that your well-being is constantly compromised. Very ChatGPT answer.
It's true though.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel like you're compromising too much that you start losing yourself, then clearly you're losing yourself, and, like, that's
That's
a
a
clear
signal.
symptom. Yeah, agreed. And it's hard, especially, like, when you have feelings for someone you and this is where I've also fallen short in the past is I have fallen for people where I see the potential of them, and potentially see, like, the good in them and how, like, everything could be worked on, but I think
We
going
all
back.
fall for potential.
Yeah, like, some things just cannot be changed, and if you look back at the person that you're dating or you're with, and you're like, "If I nothing changed about them, like, today,
Yeah.
and they stay like this for the rest of their life," like, how would you feel about it?
It's just when love is involved and you have this
It's so unpredictable. Ugh,
deep, affection towards them and everything, it's so difficult to
yeah,
untie yourself from them and see it for what it is rather than for what it can be.
truly, truly.
Anyway, moving on. Reddit. Woohoo!
Woo! Next
I
source of truth.
there was just one that I found pretty interesting, which
Okay.
was no reason to stay is a good reason to go.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a good one.
So
Wow.
simple
Nothing
but
holding you back.
powerful. And then I went on the website. Well, I told you I have a lot of answers for this one, which it's called a little Buddha, but this author made a 3-question guide to recognize when enough is enough. And these are the 3 questions she would always ask herself.
Okay.
One is, do their actions frequently contradict their words? 2, do you frequently make excuses for them to yourself and others? And 3, does this person turn things around on you as if their actions are your fault?
I like that too. I need that
Yeah.
list. Send me that list.
I
That would be
will,
a good my good evaluation,
I will attach it
checklist.
to the notes of this episode because I think like these are really good questions to, keep yourself in check in does this make sense or not?
Yeah,
I think first should be always like, do you feel safe with them? Or,
totally.
does
Did
it
it make you feel comfortable? Can you be
Yeah.
yourself around them?
I mean, sometimes it's not gonna make you comfortable. Like relationships and I'm going back to what Carrie said. Like, how do you recognize that this is a pain of growth versus pain of pains? Growth does feel painful and that will happen in long-term relationship at some point, but it doesn't mean it's bad. Like to grow together and individually, it will not be easy.
Yeah,
But where you see the difference, like it will be uncomfortable. But when you don't feel, I think, safe or you feel anxious, that's where it starts to be a problem.
yeah. The alarms start ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's that. Anything you
I
would
love
like
it.
to add?
No, I think we've covered like our bases very well this time. Don't date toxic men.
Don't date.
No, you should still date. It's kind of fun.
Buy a pet.
Oh yeah, definitely get a pet. Get yourself a Marvin.
Get a pet and good facials, and you
I don't
will
know where
be
Marvin is. And don't get
happy.
splinters. Don't sit on benches.
Sit on benches, but don't be drunk.
I wasn't drunk. I actually did not have a sip of
I
alcohol.
I knew you were gonna react that way.
I was like, you can't blame that on that because I simply was sitting and I was actually doing some work. I was on my laptop.
Why were you working?
It was like Friday because I had finished my calls at around like 3 o'clock, and my friend's like, "Oh, just like come over. We're gonna make food. You can just like work from here." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll bring my laptop. Like I'm just, you know, doing some
So
async work."
don't ever work from the bench. That's the conclusion. When you are going for friends dinner, you go
I
there for
don't think
fun,
that's
not to
what
work.
that's what I think it was just a bad sanding on the bench. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, fair.
Anyway,
Anyway, next
next
episode.
episode, I got it queued up this time. We're gonna be
Good.
episode 13, games that people play.
Oh, I like that. I like games. So
Yeah, we'll have to figure out like what have been some games people have played before.
I might sense what the episode is about, but I'm
I
not
think
sure
I
if it's
kind of
this
remember it.
one
We'll see.
or
We'll see.
it's.
We'll find out.
Yeah, you will find out together with us next week.
Woo. We love it. All right.
All right.
We'll see you
Now
guys.
that was all. Thank you very much,
Thanks for tuning
everyone.
in.
And we will see you soon. Bye.
See you. Bye.